Hello, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube. My name is Mr. Maxwell, and welcome back to another side quest about video games with myself and Exilemagpie.
Hello!
Well, a few things happened.
Yes.
A few things. We'll get to the Microsoft.
We will bring out not only the bats, but the double-barreled shotgun for Microsoft.
Yeah, a few things. We'll start with the delusional first.
Yeah.
After calling the next Battlefield another tremendous live service, EA CEO threatens to put ads in AAA games. But this is on par with EA, because let's be honest, the people at the top of EA, they're all robots. They don't understand. They don't actually understand human emotion and actual human stuff.
No, they do not.
So they generally think that like live services, because they're robots, are like people like them.
I noticed though, the thing is, he didn't say it was going to be a good game.
No, he just said another. Well, to be fair, he said he's called it a tremendous live service.
Yeah, because that's what we want. Yes, every live service, short of Helldivers 2 recently, every big one that has been released has died a death. So what does EA do? Yeah, we're going to have Battlefield be a live service. I mean, the last Battlefield was a live service and failed miserably, but clearly that wasn't on us. That wasn't on our decisions.
Clearly not.
Clearly, we've been make terrible decisions that made it that bad.
Well, they're robots. I'm telling you. Electronic Arts CEO Andrew Wilson made a string of controversial statements in the company's most recent earnings call, with potential in-game ads and comments about the next Battlefield raising some eyebrows. Battlefield might not be the Call of Duty rival that it once was, following a string of divisive releases.
Okay.
Battlefield 1.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, Battlefield 1, it wasn't great, but it was still a Battlefield game.
Yeah, but the thing is, it all started going downhill.
Yes.
From Battlefield 1.
The thing is that they didn't look at Battlefield 1 and what they did wrong. They just looked at it and went, well, we need to go more in the things that people have been complaining about, clearly. Because, people complaining about... What people complain about is, about issues they have with the game. We need to focus on those issues and make them more prominent in the game. That's the only way that makes sense for EA.
But Wilson was eager to hype up the next entry in the large-scale level... Whatever that word is. And the large-scale battle sim.
Military.
It's a military battle sim.
Yeah.
Really. I've spent a whole bunch of time with the collective Battlefield team, says Wilson, funnily calling in the next game another tremendous live service. Battlefield hasn't embraced the live service snuff as heavily as Call of Duty or Destiny has. Well, Destiny is a live service. It's always been a live service.
Yeah, it's one of the first.
Yeah.
So
it's a live service back when live services were. All we did was update the game.
Yeah.
It wasn't. They didn't have microtransactions back then.
Oh, not as bad.
Although, to be fair, everybody knew they were coming. Yeah, Destiny has. But the seasonal updates and battle passes certainly make the last few shooters qualify. Though, after coming off of Battlefield 5 and Battlefield 2042's troubled launches, I don't know if the series has ever had another tremendous live service to brag about, whatever that might mean nowadays.
Yeah, 5 was...
Well, I generally think a tremendous live service now would be the game actually works as intended on release.
Yes, but that's not what when corporate people say live service. That's not what they talk about. They're on about constant revenue and constant player retention, blah 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 blah. And I'm like, you need to make your game good first. If your game is not good, it will die. It will suffer the same fate as Battlefield 2042. Which, considering the fact that they did Battlefield 2042 because of the people really liking Battlefield 2041, and then they just butchered it.
Oh yeah.
It's I look at that and like, you really haven't learned your lesson, have you? No. I mean, that entire statement from him is just the epitome of, I don't have a fucking clue about the market I'm in.
Well, it's like...
I'm in my own little world.
Right, basically, Battlefield's gone into the point of, like, the people who are in charge think that Battlefield is just Call of Duty. But on a bigger scale. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And for a layman, or like a casual,
yeah,
right, that's a fair analogy.
But for people who actually,
people who actually play Battlefield and actually play Call of Duty constantly, they will tell you that no, they are different games.
They are, yeah. Are they both military shooters? Yes. Well, actually, considering what you can be in COD now, I'm pushed to claim COD is a military shooter now.
It's an arcade shooter.
Yeah. But Battlefield, right? So Call of Duty was more of an arcadey, more fast reactions type shooter. Well, Battlefield was more about squad play and objective.
Yeah, it was an objective based shooter.
It was no matter which mode you were playing, there was an objective to fulfill, whether it was the onslaughts or the bog standard battles where you fight over capture points, etc., etc. And that was what defined Battlefield and Call of Duty from each other. And EA, because Call of Duty makes all the mega bucks, wants a slice of that pie. Not understanding that you are the alternative. And people will want the alternative, because if you try to be Call of Duty, you're going to be just beaten by Call of Duty. Even though we keep complaining about how Call of Duty is pretty shit at the moment. Pretty shit, really.
Well, it is now. Call of Duty is not the game it used to be.
It's still, it's a bit like... It is a bit like football games in comparison to EA's FIFA. And club football, blah, blah, blah. Like, they do things that are separate, but if you start making your game like FIFA, even though you may do a better product, because FIFA has already got the inbuilt fan base, despite the fact that they really should be asking for better, they'll just body you. You need to be you need to either figure a way to get that fan base onto your product, or offer an alternative for the people who don't want Call of Duty. But, it's EA. A company that saw the remake of Dead Space do astronomically well, and it was still not good enough for them.
Yeah, and Motive have been moved on to Battlefield.
Great.
Regardless, Wilson still boasts that the largest Battlefield team in franchise history will build a Battlefield universe across connected multiplayer and single-player experiences. The Dead Space remake developers, EA Motive, were just put to work on Battlefield, most likely working on, hopefully, the single-player. Although...
It's EA.
You could have just given me Dead Space 2. You could have just given me Dead Space 2.
Yes, but that's an easy W, and the AAA game industry wouldn't know an easy W if it went up to them, told them that they were an easy W, and then slapped them across the face. Dead Space remake developers Motive were just put to work on Battlefield, leaving the cult horror series in limbo, while the studio set up to focus on single-player Battlefield experiences was actually shut down. So the studio that was there originally set up for
the single player stuff has been closed, and they've moved Motive onto Battlefield.
I'm convinced I can do a better job than the senior management of EA and Activision Blizzard and Microsoft and Sony. I mean, to be honest, you could get anyone off the street.
Yeah.
Put them in the CEO position, and I can guarantee you they won't do a worse job.
What was perhaps more controversial was Wilson's comment about implementing advertisements in traditional AAA games. Advertising has an opportunity to be a meaningful driver of growth for us, he continued. We have teams internally in the company right now looking at how we can do very thoughtful implementations inside of our game experiences. Now, 2020's UFC 4 included full screen ads for the Amazon Prime TV show The Boys, a decision that had to be walked back after a huge fan backlash. Several other EA games have also experimented with ads in the past, such as 2004's Need for Speed Underground 2, where the company painted ads on the side of in-game billboards, getting blasted with unwanted roadside ads as part of the driving experience, so I'd take that over literal in-game pop-ups. Now, I think we're not going to get the same type of ads that we got with UFC. Now, if you buy a sports game from EA, that's what you're going to get.
Yes.
Right. But I've got a feeling they are going to... Right, this is down... We're going to be talking about Dragon Age now.
Yeah.
We're going to do... They're going to use that as, like, TV. So, you know where you get to a dramatic bit in the story and it takes a break? And then you get your adverts, and then you go... and then you come back. That's going to happen. That's what we're going to get. You're going to get to a dramatic part.
Here's the thing. That's going to happen on one game and one game only. Because if they think the reaction to what they did in UFC was bad, can you imagine they doing that to
Dragon Age or Mass Effect? If you think about it, they're the only games that they've got now.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine like a Mass Effect game, and it gets to a really crunchy part, and then it cuts away
to an advert,
to a
Pringles advert.
Yeah, to a Pringles advert. Can you imagine?
Because that's the only way I can see them do it, actually implementing ads.
The thing is that they already have adverts in their games. They already have adverts. Any Madden game has the bloody...
Yeah, but that's the thing.
Verizon or whatever fucking sponsors are in there. But they get billboards and all that. Like, EA Sports has the fucking billboards around the ground.
That's not good enough. That's the thing. That's not good enough. That doesn't bring in enough money.
Oh yes, the unrealistic expectation of line always going up.
Like, so what we're going to get is, what we're going to get, we're going to get the sports ones first. They're going to come first. So, like, you'll be playing FIFA, you'll get to half-time.
Oh, you'll get a fucking advert.
You'll get an advert then. Right, you'll get an advert for Amazon. Or, it would be funny, like, you get EA, you get a half-time, and it's an advert for, like, I don't know, Persona and stuff like that. You get random adverts. Yeah, so it'll start off like that. So UFC, you'll get an advert between rounds.
Yeah.
Right. They've got a boxing one, don't they?
Fight Night. They haven't done a fight night since Fight Night.
Oh, if they're going to be putting ads into games, you're getting a new Fight Night. You'll get ads between rounds.
Mm-hmm.
FIFA before the beginning of the match.
Do you know what they'll do?
Half time in the end.
They'll have artificial loading screens.
Yeah.
They'll deliberately make loading screens.
That's what they'll show it as. It'll be loading screens.
It'll be loading screens, which, considering everything's on an SSD nowadays, the whole point of an SSD is very little loading.
Yeah.
So how are you gonna? I mean, granted, the old FIFA Ultimate Team fanboys are dumb enough to buy it. So.
And then obviously you've got Dragon Age, Mass Effect. Is there any other games that EA do? We can't say Dead Space now because they've shot that in there.
Can you imagine if they did Dead Space 2 and there's that bit just after Thingy gets her eye poked out?
Yeah.
Spoilers.
It's a very old game now, so like...
and it instantly cuts to like a
L'Oreal.
A L'Oreal. no, a Reese's Puff.
Yeah.
Reese's advert or Haribo.
Oh no! An eyeliner.
Oh God, yes.
You're not reading the room. I got it.
Like There's a reason why people are very pissed off that the subscription services are now introducing adverts, because it's like, that was one of the things we bought your subscription service for. Fuck off.
Yeah.
We are paying extra money so that we don't have to have adverts. Fuck off.
Yeah, but
now it's premium because you know, money is an infinite source. Did you not know that? That's the only reason that, you know, these people expect the line to go up, and because, you know, money is an infinite resource. We all have infinite money. Clearly, you know, there isn't poor people on the streets and people who can't afford housing and all that sort of shit. No, that's just it's fake news. That it's just fake news.
Oh, yeah, you can buy a house, bitch. I can barely afford a Netflix fucking subscription. And you want me to buy a house?
But like I say, if you wanted a poster child of how disattached from reality the executives at the AAA game industry are, that statement from Andrew Android Wilson is the epitome. It is literally like, you do not understand the market you are
I mean, to be fair, like, the EA, you know, it's a good way to, you know, kill your company and have Microsoft come along and buy you.
Maybe he saw the pay deal Bobby Kotick ones. He wants that. He wants the although we'll get on to Microsoft. I don't think that is ever going to happen ever again. Well, not with Microsoft currently.
But yeah, adverts in games that you pay for.
And for those people who were hoping Battlefield was going to go back to being Battlefield,
nope.
Not while Android Wilson is there.
Well, to be fair, it can do it. I don't think it's going to.
EA's version of a live service is quite literally the most vomit-inducing piece of crap ever. So no, it's not.
No, I don't think it is going to. What I'm saying is it can. There is a potential that it can work. Unfortunately,
the problem is it has to be a good game first.
Unfortunately, we've had this discussion before, that like, no one actually puts in any effort to make a live service.
No, because the people.
Ow.
Oh, sorry, I just dropped my mug.
On my foot.
Yes, I apologise. The problem is that the people who want to make a good game aren't in positions to actually affect major decisions.
I think there's two problems, right? The first problem is the people who want to make a live service don't actually know what goes into making a live service, and a lot of the people who are making the game and a live service generally, at least of what I've seen, a lot of them don't want to make live services.
No,
because they actually want to make like a full product.
Yes. And not the AAA live service of, we will give you half a game, charge you full price, and then if you buy the game and then support it with extra transactions that are more than $5,
we'll fill in the rest.
We may finish the game.
Oh, it's so bad. It's so bad.
Like, how... The thing is, right, when you go on about, like, oh, Battlefield can be a great live service, it's like, right, so first things first, there is a way you basically sell a lot of cosmetics, but the problem is that EA doesn't want us to buy like helmets and...
Well, no, right, so yeah, you're right, you sell cosmetics, right? Sell cosmetics, but then what you also do is you sell add-ons. You sell on this is where the single player comes in. So like the multiplayer, like the thing is with live services, the multiplayer other than cosmetics really shouldn't go into live service like regions, because when you do that, that's how you number one, you fuck your meta up, right?
Especially when you have PvP, unlike Helldivers, which is PvE, which means people really don't really give a shit about the so-called paid power stuff that is in Helldivers 2, because it's like, well, it's not negatively affecting me. So if that guy wants to waste some money buying gun A, he can do. Also, Also, Helldivers 2's balances of the case of, well, there is no gun that is workable for every scenario. There will come a time where your gun that you have is the shit gun for that scenario. But for Battlefield...
For a live service Battlefield, this is where your single player comes in. Because what you can do is, you can sell single player DLC.
Yes, that is an idea.
Because number one, Battlefield is mostly a multiplayer game.
Yes.
So the people who are going to play single player, right, will already be playing multiplayer anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So there's your player base.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to worry about we're gonna lose player base. We're losing the player base. No, because and then you're just offering an extra single player.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, this is what you can do. We all know EA are not going to do this.
I would also say, like, there's a certain game called Overwatch 2 that kind of took that plan and it decided to torpedo itself.
No. Right, number one, Overwatch 2 decided they were going to add in this, basically a huge MMO sort of fucking deal. What I'm on about is, like, just Battlefield. Just extra online mission, extra single player missions, and all that sort of shit. The stuff that we've already had in Battlefield, but just more of it. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
I'm not on about like the way Overwatch did things, because Overwatch promised the fucking world, is what Overwatch did, and then realized, oh shit, we can't actually do this, or at least we can't actually do this in a time frame that we promised that we would do it in.
Or more importantly, we weren't going to actually, provide the resources to actually make that promise. But
EA won't do that.
No,
because they'll want you to buy the bullshitty stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's easier for them to make, so that they can make more money.
We want characters. We want characters for you to buy. No, fuck off. We don't want Battlefield. Is right. So Call of Duty is your hero. In a sense, is your hero-ish type. Like everyone has the opportunity to become like the big fucking standout Stallone, fucking hold the wall, Rambo, fucking awesomeness. Right. Battlefield, I find, has always been at its best when it's basically just like, look, these are just grunts from the Marine Corps and from French Army, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Or, like, they're not specialised troops. They are just a mass of people fighting each other for objectives. And, random shit happens. That is Battlefield at its best. And EA doesn't understand that.
Well, no.
They took the memes and went, this is what people want. It's like, no, they're the memes because they don't happen that often.
And they're funny.
Like when I put C4 in front of me as someone tried to run me over with a Humvee, and I blew the Humvee up and it flew over my head. Did I manage to do that repeatedly? No. Was it fun? Was it absolutely amazing when I did the one and only time? Yes. But again, like I say, it's just another symptom, another sign of how disattached from reality the people at the top of this industry are. And they are completely and utterly disattached from the actual reality, because they look at graph A, see number not going up as much now, and go, I want number going up. My whole life is dependent on number going up. Why is number not going up? Because our games are shit. But that shouldn't matter. Number should be going up. Well, fans only want one thing. Can you make us a good game? That's all we want, is a good game. You make and sell us a good game, we will buy it.
And if you make DLC for that game, most likely we'll buy that as well.
Baldur's Gate 3, Helldivers 2, and the list is endless. Like the Persona series,
Stellar Blade.
You make good game. Lies of P. Elder Scroll.
No, whoa.
No. I'm about old school Elder Scrolls. But Elden Ring.
We're not.
Okay, fine. Elden Ring then.
Elden Ring. Yes.
Elden Ring. Bloodborne.
Remnant.
You make a good game, people will buy it. It's not hard. Yeah, is it hard to make a good game? Yes. But the actual logic behind how to sell and be successful isn't. You nurture the teams that bring you good games and good products.
I think it's more now that like just companies are not willing to put out like a new IP.
They're not willing to put they're not willing to put out a new IP, but also they're not willing to put in the effort.
Yeah.
But also like they make the most stupidest decisions. Like, let's double the budget of this new IP.
Yeah.
With not with development costs. No. Just
marketing.
Just marketing. Just marketing. Like, what is wrong with you? Honestly, God, it's times like I wish I had Bruce Wayne money, because then I could just walk up to the androids and go, "Fuck off! I'm now own this company." I just want to do that.
It'd be nice.
It would be great.
It would be nice.
And like I say, I'm not promising that I will make EA a better company overnight, but I guarantee you I wouldn't be able to do any worse.
Yeah, true.
Because Battlefield would not be a live service. Battlefield would be a Battlefield game.
Well, I wouldn't make any live services, to be fair, like at the moment.
Ultimate Team, I would instantly separate from both Madden and...
I would turn Ultimate Team into a mobile game.
I would make them free to play. I would separate them off from the main games, make them free to play for anyone who wants to fucking do that, and then the actual fucking proper games would have actual proper investment in the modes that they should be, which is career mode and
actually just the game in general.
Yeah, just the game in general. Like Madden would be focused on actually becoming an actual simulator instead of whatever the fuck is there at Madden right now, and an actual proper career mode without fluff like cutscenes for no reason.
Yeah,
like it.
But another tremendous live service is coming.
Yes.
From a company that doesn't actually know what a tremendous live service looks like.
No, that the last live service they released flopped harder than a jellyfish. Just fucking LEA.
Do you not remember Anthem? Do you guys not remember Anthem? It wasn't that long ago.
I mean, they don't even need to remember back that far. Battlefield 2042, that's all they need to remember. They released a non-Battlefield game, and were very shocked that people were upset about it.
Yes, that's very true.
Like, at least with Battlefield 5, or V, as I call it, at least all that really had was a battle pass. And that was it.
So, moving on. Sony. Because, you couldn't fuck up once.
No, you couldn't at all.
So, Ghost of Tsushima has been delisted by PlayStation without warning, leaving millions of fans furious. So, basically, if you live in a country that doesn't have PlayStation Network, you can't buy Ghost of Tsushima anymore.
This is like...
People have been refunded their pre-orders.
Yeah, this... I mean, I know... what EA has said is dumb, but this is also just as dumb.
This is really dumb.
This is, let's restrict the amount of people that could actually play and pay for our game. Like, what is wrong with you? How is this a good idea? I mean, just like, is this because people were pissed off at you for Helldivers 2?
Yeah.
I mean, I keep saying Sony is a very petty company, but this is like whole new levels of low. Like, what the fucking hell? Why do you want to torpedo your own fucking games on PC? You literally have been trying for the last few years to get onto the PC market, and you decide to pull this shit now? What is wrong with you? This is a ongoing pattern here, isn't there?
Yes.
Me just going, what is wrong with you?
Yes. So yeah, basically, after the whole Helldivers 2 situation, to which Sony did back down, arriving to PC on 16th of May, Ghost of Tsushima is about to get its time in the spotlight once again, since its first release for the PS4 and PS5 back in 2020. So 4 years ago.
4 years ago.
and Ghost of Tsushima is getting back into the spotlight, which is a perfect time because there's a lot of rumours that the next State of Play that we're getting in July, we are going to get an announcement trailer for the new Ghost of Tsushima. Everybody's calling it Ghost of Tsushima 2, but we don't know.
It'll be Ghost of something.
Yeah. So,
do you know what?
This is actually a perfect time for Ghost of Tsushima to get back into the spotlight.
Yeah.
And what does Sony decide to do? Sony decided to pull this bollocks.
Yeah.
And it's just like, what are you doing?
What I just don't. It makes no sense. Why restrict the amount of people that could play your game? I
understand you want people on the PlayStation Network. I understand that. But again, there is a simple solution to this.
You give them
You give these
incentives.
people. You give these people who can't have a PlayStation Network account the ability to have a PlayStation Network account.
Yeah. Also, instead of going, you must have a PlayStation account to play a game, how about if you have a PlayStation account, you also get this? Incentivize having a PlayStation account instead of forcing a PlayStation, because humans, not just gamers, humans as a Brit, I can honestly tell you, when people tell Brits you have to do something, we will do the opposite as a FU to you. Not because it will benefit us, even if it is at a disadvantage. We will still go to you and go F you, because that is one, we have an islanders mentality, which is the whole point of F you. We do what we want, but also like we just have people just don't like being forced to do something when they don't need to. When they look at it and go, well, why do I need to do this? There's no. It's just like, just release the game worldwide to every country that will allow it to be released, because obviously I can't just instantly say, oh yeah, you can release it everywhere, because there are some certain countries that are notorious for banning games for
whatever reason.
Australia, we're looking at you.
Australia's just fine. I think they deliberately go out of their way.
They're not as bad now as they used to be, but like it was fucking silly.
It used to be like they deliberately went out of their way to find reasons not to allow video games.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's hold on. It's over 100 countries.
Why? You're just undermining your game's potential. Why? What is the...
Ghost of Tsushima will require a PSN account for its multiplayer mode. However, with single player still being accessible in offline mode and without the need of a PSN, many players believe they could still play the game.
Yeah. Just give them the single player mode, and then if they try to access the online... They got asked for a place to log into a PlayStation account. I mean, that's still a shitty move. I would say, but it's better than just basically going, no, you're not allowed to play the game at all.
Yeah, countries such as Georgia, Egypt, and the Dominican Republic.
What's the Dominican Republic done to anyone to deserve that? They deserve the people of the Dominican Republic should have the right to play Ghost of Tsushima. It makes no sense. You are deliberately undermining the potential of your game. It makes no financial sense. It makes no marketing sense. It makes no customer service sense. It makes no sense on any level, apart from Sony being dicks.
As somebody who deals a lot in selling things, this makes absolutely no sense at all. You've been selling games without a PSN account to these countries for a while now, because Horizon, you didn't need a PSN account if you bought it on PC. There's a couple of other games that they've done, and now all of a sudden you need one. And like I said, I understand that you want people on the PlayStation Network.
Yeah, just like Microsoft wants everyone on.
You've looked at Microsoft and how they've done it, and everybody needs an Xbox account if you want to play Halo. You've looked at Ubisoft, and you need a Ubisoft account if you want to play Assassin's Creed on PC.
Yeah.
You've looked at Epic, and you need an Epic Games account if you want to play Fortnite. I understand you want that sort of thing. I get that. But there's a difference between all of them and you. They seem to have everybody's has the
they don't
ability
have
to get an
over
account.
They don't have over 100 countries that do not have access to that service.
At least I think.
Yeah.
Because I've not seen anybody complain that they can't play a game in their country.
I think that's the thing. If the PlayStation Network was available...
If it was available everywhere,
yeah.
this wouldn't be a thing.
No.
I don't even think people would complain.
There would be still people complaining because at the moment
but
Sony is what I'm saying is Sony is the top dog and it's always popular to jump on the top dog.
But at the same time, I don't think it would be as big of a backlash as we've seen with Helldivers and this. It's like the easy solution here is to sort it out so that these countries have PSN.
Yeah. I don't even understand why they don't at least give the option to have it in those countries. Like,
why don't these countries have PlayStation Network?
Like, clearly it's nothing. Clearly it's something. There's a difference between what Sony does with their network and the others, because I can't see. Like the Dominican Republic of Congo turning around to Sony and going, "No, we don't want your services here." I just don't see it. I just don't see how that's a thing.
Mm.
So, look, Sony. We again offer our services as the people who will turn around. As in Japan, the position of the loud American, aka the person that will turn around in the board of directors meeting and point to the stupid decision they were about to make and go, "That's stupid. This is why. You're fucking idiots. Don't do this." We will willingly offer ourselves up for that position, and we will make you more money than you actually spend on us. Because we will make sure that you don't make stupid decisions like this. Because we would turn around and go, there's over 100 countries. This is the thing. I would find out. I would literally, in these situations, look at the countries that aren't on the PlayStation Network, right? Figure out the population of them, and then tell them this is the potential sales you are missing out on by forcing this. No way on this God's green earth is restricting access to this game to this many people going to be made up by people getting a PlayStation Network account. It's just not happening.
Yeah.
It is not happening. It is never going to happen. You're never going to make up those numbers. And the person who is saying that you'll make up those numbers is fucking lying.
Yeah. It's just it baffles this. It's another one of those decisions when, like, because we've talked about this before from other companies like EA, and it's one of those decisions where you just look at it and you go, why?
It makes no sense.
It makes no sense. I cannot think of a reason to do it.
Yeah, because even though you go, well, it's to force people. It's to force people to get the PlayStation Network. It's like, but they're not going to.
Yeah, you've just. But if the PlayStation Network isn't available, how can they get it?
Yeah, and that's why they've pulled sale from those countries, and it's like, well, we weren't going to make money from them anyway. It's like, yes, because of your decision. It's not them wanting. It's not those people in those countries not buying the game. You've not even given them the option to buy the game.
Yeah,
like just look. Sony, do one or two things. Either one, drop this bullshit fucking hell. Even if it was even if PlayStation Network is available throughout the world, even Antarctica, I would campaign to basically say, look, PlayStation Network is not an option. We make ourselves the only company that does that, because that will put us in the good books of the gamers, and that gives us some credit, some goodwill that we can use to sell more games and do more things. But no.
Why would you want that?
So do either that, or just not have the restriction of needing a PlayStation Network account. Just don't, because you're missing out of over 100 countries, potential markets. That's like building the fucking Model T Ford and saying only the state of Cleveland could buy it.
Yeah.
No, the state of Ohio.
Oh yeah.
That's like
Cleveland.
The city of Cleveland. Yeah, just like that's how stupid this is.
Yeah,
It's the dumbest. Like, I don't understand how someone in a boardroom could have said that and not one other person said, "Are you sure this is a good idea?" Like, you should know how your company is run. Like, this is the thing. This is another thing. Like, some people go, "Oh, well, they're too far up the chain to understand everything." It's like, it's their job to know. It's their literal job to actually know these things so that they can make informed decisions. And if they don't know, they shouldn't be fucking there. They shouldn't be making decisions. God damn it, Sony.
But they are.
Yeah, they are.
Again.
God, just stop. Please. To everyone in the AAA gaming industry, just stop.
Yeah,
enough.
Just stop and think for like 2 seconds. That's all I want. Literally, like, half the time I generally think that they don't even think.
Just
Don't
think infinite fucking growth number goes all the way up and just keeps going, because you know that's clearly clearly a realistic a realistic ambition. It's not, to anyone who doesn't understand sarcasm. Just think about the repercussions of the decisions you make. And speaking of repercussions, I think we segue into the next bit.
Yeah, moving on now. It's the big one. Everybody's been talking about it. Microsoft axed 4 game studios, including Hi-Fi Rush developer.
Also known as We Fucking Told You So, to everyone that supported Microsoft.
Microsoft is shutting 4 studios, including Tango Gameworks, the developer of BAFTA award-winning Hi-Fi Rush. The Tokyo studio is being closed alongside Texas-based Arcane Austin, Canadian developer Alpha Dog Studios, and Roundhouse Games is being absorbed into the Elder Scrolls Online developer ZeniMax Online Studios. Microsoft has not said how many jobs will be cut, because they know if they do, they'll get absolutely bodied again.
I mean, they're getting bodied enough as is, but, you know, to be perfectly honest, I think they could be bodied more.
As a result of the closures, which are all being made at subsidiary Bethesda, which the tech giant bought for $7.5 billion in 2020, which actually back then they bought it for $5.85 billion, but inflation.
Yeah.
In 2020. Yeah. This was... I mean, I was a little bit shocked that it happened so soon.
It's not the fact that they closures that was surprising to me. It's who they closed.
I'm not surprised. I knew it was going to be these ones. I knew. Said.
Yeah, you actually said. You know that you did say you worried about Arcane.
I worried about Arcane. I worry about Tango. I worried about Machine Gun Games. Like I was worried for them when they bought Bethesda, because I knew they bought Bethesda for the Elder Scrolls and Fallout, and they didn't buy them for the other studios. This is why, if I was a big Blizzard fan, I'd be a little bit worried, because everybody knows they bought Activision for COD and not Blizzard.
Yeah, the only thing that could probably save Blizzard is World of Warcraft. But do you honestly think they're going to keep the Blizzard as the base size it is, just for Warcraft?
Well, no, because what they'll do is that they'll just turn everything into Warcraft.
Yeah.
Well, maybe Diablo, depending on how Diablo does.
Which is not doing well.
It's not doing well right
and it's
now,
about to
but
get
you
its,
never know.
And it's about to get its face smashed in by Path of Exile 2.
But, you know, Season 4 is coming for Diablo, so who knows. But this one, I was annoyed, because it was just like, number one, you're shutting Tango because Shinji left. That's why you're closing Tango.
That's why they could get.
That's why you kept Tango open as long as you have, to Shinji, because Shinji was there.
Yeah.
But he's left now, so they're not going to be. You don't want them.
Tango is the one that really does make no sense based on what they've been saying, at all. Like a day later, Matt Booty, in an all-house call, or town hall call, or however they fucking call it, it's basically an all-staff call for anyone. Basically said, we need to make more smaller-sized games that give us prestige and awards.
Yeah, Hi-Fi Rush. Basically
24 hours after closing the Tango Games, who gave you Hi-Fi freaking Rush, you come out with this? How fucking far up your own arsehole do you have to be to not realise how much of a bad statement that is?
And Arcane Austin, which made Prey, by the way.
Yeah.
Which won a lot of awards, and it's a small game.
And then it's just like, not even a year ago, Phil Spencer was saying, "Oh, we're not going to close Arcane Austin just because of Redfall. We're not going to close. We're going to support them. We think they can turn this game around." They're going to kill the game now, because Arcane Austin, even though we both say Redfall is shit, it's a terrible game, but there are a small community that plays that game and support it. And Arcane Austin, where the next patch was going to give an offline mode, which meant that when the servers were going to be switched off by Microsoft, which is what will happen, people could still play the game. That's not going to happen now. Redfall is going to fall under the same bracket as an awful lot of other games. One of the big ones being The Crew. Being that people bought that game and now can't play it. But also, like, this is like Microsoft made more. Basically, they made more than they expected profits in the first quarter of this year. They made $33 billion profit. They paid Bobby Kotick
it's a ludicrous amount of money. It's a stupid. It's
something like $178 million or something stupid like that. It's like a 9-digit number, right? And people worked out it would cost to just run Tango Games and Arcane Austin. That money could fund those two companies for 17 years.
Wow.
And they are shocked that people are pissed.
Yeah.
Microsoft's whole shtick about buying these companies was, we're going to support them. We have the financial clout to be able to let these developers not only survive but thrive with a secure financial. Because even we said, like, oh yeah, the Redfall,
Arcane Austin, they don't have to worry.
They don't have to worry. They've got Microsoft money. They can release this crap game and then go on to the next one because, Daddy Microsoft.
But the problem is they spent $70 billion on Activision.
They spent, and then that got Daddy Microsoft's interested in Xbox.
And we don't actually know how much the core costs.
They spent way too much money, and like I've been saying, Microsoft will want a return on its investment, and not in 5 years' time, not in 10 years' time, not in 5 years' time, but at a maximum 2 years' time. They will want a return on that $70 billion that Phil Spencer paid for Activision Blizzard. And to all the people that are trying to defend Phil Spencer, this is on him. It doesn't matter if if it was him or Microsoft or anyone else. It could be the fucking boogeyman for all I care, who made the decision to close those studios down. Phil Spencer's decision to buy Ninja Theory, Ninja Theory Bethesda own all their studios, and Activision Blizzard for $70 billion is what has led to this. This is the consequences of one's actions. Microsoft spent $70 billion and God knows how much on Activision Blizzard when it, especially on the court costs for a monopoly claim, which everyone who had half a brain cell knew was coming. They spent so much money that no, they're not going to let Xbox just do whatever the fuck they want anymore. It's a $3 trillion company, yes, but they don't become a $3 trillion company by being nice. This is Microsoft we're talking about. They're not the good guys. They have never been the good guys.
Yeah, they've never been the nice guy, which for a very long time people have been given them that title.
Yeah, they've been giving Phil Spencer a pass.
Yeah.
Because, he's such a nice guy.
And he's not a nice guy, he's an idiot.
Phil Spencer's defense for allowing them to buy Activision Blizzard was that their games were shit. There is no comeback to that. That you can't turn around and say anything to that because that is him throwing his own company under the fucking bus. No one should be allowed to say that and survive. Because it's either the CEO survives or the company survives, one or the other.
Yeah, but it wasn't even that long ago. Well, yeah, it wasn't that long ago when they were talking about how they wanted companies to. They wanted the game developers to have the artistic freedom to make what they wanted.
Yeah.
Right? And by the sounds of things,
that was before they spent $70 billion.
That was before they spent $70 billion. But that was just a fucking lie.
Yeah.
Because Tango Gameworks was pitching ideas.
Yeah.
And now you've closed them.
Because they were pitching ideas, apparently.
I bet they wanted a Hi-Fi Rush 2. And Tango Gameworks, the people at Tango.
No. Apparently, from what some people in Tango has come out and said, that they were actually
pitching Hi-Fi
ideas
Rush 2.
For Hi-Fi Rush 2. But basically, Microsoft said, close down any company, any division, any developer that is asking for more staff and new IP or new games that will need further funding for development. So in other words, unless you are Call of Duty, Elder Scrolls, or
basically, unless your game is coming out in the next year, you're fucked.
Yeah,
basically.
If your game is not Call of Duty, is not Elder Scrolls, is not Fallout,
doesn't have Blizzard attached to it at the moment.
It's not no, I don't even think that. I think if it's not
Warcraft.
If it's not Warcraft, if it's not one of those four, I hope people aren't attached to any of the developers, because I've got a feeling that the huge amount of IPs that Microsoft now have, we're not seeing them for forevermore. I honestly don't like. To those people who are like, we'll get a new Crash Bandicoot. No, you won't.
No.
You're not getting a new Crash Bandicoot. You're not getting a Spyro. You're not getting any. You are getting. All you'll be getting now, apart from games that are near completion, is Call of Duty, Elder Scrolls, Fallout, Warcraft. Because
these new games that are coming, they've got to do well.
And again, all of this, these closures, the shit state that company now is in, because this is the thing. Hi-Fi Rush was a success. No matter how you look at it, Hi-Fi Rush was a success. And they closed Tango Games.
Mm-hmm.
So being successful is not enough to save your job. Being talented is not enough to save your job. Being loyal is not enough. Being a hard worker is not enough. Like, nothing is enough to safeguard your job, which means what is the working conditions for those people? How stressful is that? Like, how can you actually go to work in a good, creative, dynamic mood, when you know it does not matter how well you do, how well your game does, how much hard work you put in.
I mean, you could always get onto the COD. You could always get put into the COD mode.
The thing is, I don't even think that's going to save you. I honestly think they're going to be, because Microsoft wants a return on its investment, and the AAA game industry doesn't even think 3 months down the line, they think 2 weeks down the line. They will just cut it, basically, like, unless you're Sledgehammer, Infinity Ward, or Treyarch, if you're any of the others slaving away in the Call of Duty mine, even Call of Duty is not going to safeguard your job. You could be gone.
Yeah, that's true.
Because it won't be Treyarch, Infinity Ward, or Sledgehammer that'll be closing. It'll be just the smaller studios.
Yeah, the ones.
No one will notice. No one will notice them going.
Yeah, that's true.
So, and the same with Bethesda. You're the Overwatch team. Yeah, Overwatch isn't making enough money, so no one. Oh yeah. But like,
I'm worried about Arcane Studios now.
Yeah,
because Blade doesn't do well.
Oh yeah,
which it won't. Blade will not do the numbers that it.
Blade doesn't do the numbers. Ninja Theory as well.
Oh yeah, if it's
Senua Saga's next game is out in less than 2 weeks.
They've done virtually no.
And I've seen 2 tweets. And one advert on Twitch. I've seen nothing else. I'm wondering if Microsoft have actually fired.
I generally forgot that was coming out this month.
Yeah,
I generally forgot. I've been actually waiting for it, and I forgot its date because I was like,
well,
they've been bigging it up in like at the Game Awards.
Surely they'll send the.
We'll at least get adverts on Twitch like constantly.
Yeah.
Like, we'll at least get that, so I'll know when it's out. It's fine. I don't have to worry about it. I don't have to worry about it. I honestly forgot it was out next week. Yeah. And I was like, it's out next week? What the fuck? Did Microsoft forget it's out next week?
Another thing is, like, I know they're going about like how well Hi-Fi Rush did, and I honestly think they deliberately. I think they wanted Hi-Fi Rush to not actually do well. I think they deliberately wanted it to die because it was stealth dropped, no advertisement, no marketing. It was just literally, here's Hi-Fi Rush and you can buy it now and it's on day one Game Pass.
Yeah.
And that's another thing. Phil Spencer's gamble on Game Pass has failed. Yeah. Miserable.
Well, the thing is, Game Pass. Okay, so Game Pass is a good idea. Yeah. Right? It's a good idea. It's a good little streaming thing. It's cool for customers. Its actual business model doesn't work for developers.
Yeah, because it undermines sales for the developer. Especially the Microsoft's own developers.
Yeah, for Microsoft's, for their companies, so like
Tango, Arcane.
Well, who does Gears? What's the company that does Gears? Because it used to be Epic and it's somebody else now. I can't remember. I've literally been playing Gears of War 5 and I can't remember. But anyway, right. So you release Gears of War 6, which apparently that's going to be revealed at the next. There's rumours that's the next big Microsoft game. Right, Gears of War 6. Because it's on day one Game Pass, instead of giving it like 6 months, you instantly hurt
its sales.
Because instead of people paying the amount of money that you want, do people pay this? So at the moment, £70. They're not paying that.
No, they're paying Game Pass.
They're paying this Game Pass subscription, right? Yep. So that instantly hurts the sales of that game. So it's not going to make the numbers that you want it to make.
And the thing is like when they talk about like it was a gamble that Phil Spencer did, and it's obvious it's a gamble now because it's failed.
Yeah.
Like apparently growth in
So what's happened is I can honestly, this is what I generally think. So Game Pass came out, and at the time there wasn't anybody else.
No.
Right, Game Pass came out, and so everybody jumped on Game Pass.
Yeah. Then COVID happened.
Right?
And they had a massive spike.
A big spike. But at the same time, Nintendo has made their own version of Game Pass.
Sony has as
Sony has made their own Game Pass. But instead of being like, oh, you can get these games day one on Game Pass or on the PlayStation Plus or on Nintendo's what's Nintendo's called? What's their online thing called? It doesn't matter. And like number one, Nintendo's is more classic games than new games, and PlayStation Plus, the game's usually out for about 6 to 7 months before it gets put on.
Very rare a game gets put on as like
it's
either
not
the monthly game or the
right. What I've noticed is for day one releases, they are not the Sony games.
No,
they're not the Sony
and
games.
Clearly, they're games that Sony have paid money to do it.
Yeah, right. So by the time the game comes out onto the free thing, it's already made its numbers.
Yeah,
because you've got to give, as much as like you can hate Sony and you can bash Sony for its stupid decisions, for doing what it does at being at the top, or even just because you just don't like Sony. You can bash them as much as you want. There is one thing you cannot deny about Sony. They know how to sell a fucking game.
Yeah.
They know how to hype something up.
Well, as long as it's in the PlayStation Network.
As long as it's on the PlayStation Network.
As long as it's in the country of the PlayStation Network, yes, they know.
They know how to sell things.
Yeah, but also,
Microsoft, you're not going to sell a game if you shove it straight onto your fucking free streaming fucking thing.
It's also, you will undermine its potential if you don't actually, you advertise it.
You are actively hurting your developers by doing that. Because the people at the top, I know that it's like, oh, well, they want to sell Game Pass subscriptions. No one's buying Game Pass for Hellblade 2. No one's buying Game Pass for Hi-Fi Rush. No. It's not going to happen. Right? People buy Game Pass because you can get games on there.
Yeah.
You pay 15 quid and you can get games. A lot of them probably don't care what's on there as long as there's free games. Mm-hmm. Right? Because for a lot of people now, games are very expensive. And then when you look at it and you go, oh, well, I can either pay $70 for this game, or I can pay $15 a month, and I've got 100 games. Yeah. Like most people will go, I'll take the $15 and I'll wait for the $70 game to go a bit cheaper. Right? Mm-hmm. This is where PlayStation's models come in, and because they sell very well, because they know how to market fucking shit.
Also, Sony has for the last 2 generations put the emphasis on making the games good.
Good, right? Because Stellar Blade will eventually go into PlayStation Plus. Yes. You will eventually be able to play that game for free. Eventually.
Well, for the subscription.
For the subscription. You know what I mean, though.
Yeah.
Right? But with Microsoft, you want to play Halo on day one? Okay, then. Yeah. Right? How much did Halo cost to make? Oh, well, 300, that's round about 300 million. Right? 300 million. You are not making that money back.
On Game Pass.
On Game Pass. That is not going to happen. You are instantly hurting your own developers.
The thing is like, they do this so that people will buy Game Pass.
Yeah, but they're not going to.
They then hold those games' sales as a metric of success. And it's like, no, you don't do that.
The other part is it's like, you know how it's like, oh, Game Pass is like $15 a month.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Not Ultimate. Which, by the way, you have to get Ultimate to get the full range. Yeah. Because I'm on the basic Game Pass. Mm-hmm. I get 25 games.
Is that it?
That's it. That's all I've got.
Yes. The usual Microsoft thing of like,
right?
Oh, you want to actually have a proper thing? You've got to pay us more. By the way, apparently rumors are they are going to up the price.
They're upping the Ultimate price,
which is like, yes,
yeah. So, number one, Game Pass isn't as cheap as people have been saying it is, because it's not. It actually costs more than PlayStation Plus.
Yeah.
if we add everything together, because for the Ultimate, you can't buy. You know how so I was able to get a year's subscription.
Yeah.
In one thing.
Oh,
at the
yes.
basic price. For the Ultimate, you can't do that.
Nope. 3 months.
You can only get 3 months.
Now, maybe in America you can get a full year. Maybe in other countries, but in the UK where we live, 3 months is the max you can get. You'll have to buy 4 lots of 3 months.
Unless I do it via the Xbox, to which I have to put my fucking details in.
No, that's never going to happen.
I don't do it on my PlayStation. I'm not doing it on my Xbox.
Yeah, no, there's no way. No way Sony or Microsoft or even Nintendo are going to get access to my fucking debit card. That's not happening.
Yeah, unless I do it that way, I cannot get a year's. I can only get 3 months at a time.
Hell.
Right, and it's 50 quid.
Jesus.
It's 50 quid for the Ultimate.
So that is £200 a year.
A year. So Game Pass is not cheaper.
No, it's more expensive than the PlayStation, because at least when you pay for the Premium Plus, which is the one that gives you all the classic games.
Don't get me wrong, Sony's going to up the price of the Premium to 200. It's going to get there because Microsoft have done it.
Yeah.
Like do not get me wrong. I'm not.
We're not defending Sony on this. We still think it's a terrible thing that they're going to be raising.
But my point is that the idea that what people have been saying, like you can go on YouTube and look at people going on about Game Pass and how cheap it is. It is not cheap. It is not cheap at all. It's one of the most. It is one of the most expensive fucking subscription services out there now. It's ridiculous. And for the if you just want the basic one, you want to get 25 games.
Yay!
And you don't get day one access.
Microsoft, they're an amazingly good company, aren't they?
You don't get day one access. You don't get the extra add-ons that you would get with the Ultimate, because Ultimate also you can get add-ons for certain games for free and all that. Well, I say free, but you know what I mean. But this idea that Game Pass is customer friendly is bollocks as well. And I've been saying from day one about Game Pass.
Yeah,
I can honestly say that. I can honestly say that, like, even when all the YouTubers were coming out and being like, "Oh yeah, Game Pass is amazing because you get..." No, it's bollocks. It's all bollocks. It's all been bollocks.
And it's been the end goal. I honestly believe the end goal for Microsoft was...
Well, it's not just Microsoft now.
Well, yeah, no, it's not just Microsoft. But the end goal for Microsoft is they basically make everything on Game Pass. You can't get it anywhere else. And then they basically... It's no longer you buying the game.
Well, that probably was.
Yeah.
That was the but I think they've realised that Game Pass isn't working.
Well, no,
because nobody's buying an Xbox. Nobody's buying an Xbox because Xbox sucks. I can say that I've got one. And I don't. Xbox fans, you can say what you want. The Xbox sucks. It's shit. It's a garbage machine. It's literally a brick. I don't do anything with it. I use it to watch fucking Netflix and Crunchyroll.
Which you can do on almost any other.
Which I can do on almost everything else now. So it's now just it's useless.
It's what the PlayStation 3 turned into when the PlayStation 4 came out. It was a glorified Blu-ray player.
Yeah, right. It's crap, right? I've lost my train of thought now.
Basically, Microsoft, the Game Pass is not as great as it's supposed to be.
Oh yeah, so and that's the reason why Microsoft are releasing their games on other things. Microsoft's new plan now, most likely, is probably to be a publisher.
Yeah, they're gonna go the way of Sega.
Yeah, because number one, the Xbox, the actual machine, is not making the money.
No,
it's not. And I know consoles. People go on about like, well, consoles don't make the money. Yes, they do. It's not instant.
Yeah,
they start
at a loss, and then they get to a point where they're making the profit.
That's why like console generations are usually like 5 to 6 years, because by the time it gets to the 5th or 6th year, usually they're making a profit. Like Sony are making a profit on the PS5 now.
Yeah. I think also is the plan. This whole thing of like, oh, everything's online and subscriptions will be the way forward. It's like it literally doesn't.
Well,
it is again born of this whole idea that money is an infinite resource, and it's
Yeah.
like, no, it's fucking not.
The thing about that is, we're already seeing like people turning away from streaming services.
Yeah.
Like Blu-ray sales alone last year actually rose up from it's been the best it's been in the last like 5. People are going back to physical.
Yeah.
Like look, I mean, you just have to look at the music industry.
This is
vinyl is back.
I was about to say, like, this is the thing I've noticed through the years of growing up and watching things. It always seems to go like, because music did it first. Music went digital first with like iTunes and all that. Then movies, then terrestrial, and then games. And it's doing the same again. The music industry is going back into physical media because the younger generation have all of a sudden, for some reason, had gotten access to vinyl players, and started listening to vinyls and going, there was something unique about the sound from a vinyl player.
The main reason why vinyls came back in was because nobody could afford look at like when we were growing up with the stereo systems.
Oh god, yeah.
Nobody can afford them now, right?
No.
So basically what happened was people started listening to their, like we did when we were younger. We listened to our parents'
vinyl records,
music, right? And people are doing that again. People started doing that, and then people realized how actually cool vinyls are.
Yeah,
like vinyls are cool. I don't care what anybody says.
They are really cool, but also there's a very unique sound. It's a very there is a audible difference between a vinyl and like digital or CD.
Yeah.
When you hear the music from that source.
And so. Well, you got to remember when vinyl started getting popular again. Vinyls were cheap. I mean, when we were HMV, like vinyls were like what, like £1, £2?
Yeah, they were.
So you could just buy you could buy tons of vinyls and it'd be fine. Which is why, like, quite a few years ago, we got the you would have like Dolly Parton at number 1. Because everybody was buying their old vinyls because. Yeah. People could afford it,
and Dolly Parton's music was actually really good.
And compact discs will come back. Like we'll get disc players again because nobody can afford fucking iPods anymore.
Well, no, they're not making iPods anymore.
Oh yeah, they're not making iPods anymore.
No, they're all iPhones.
And nobody can afford a fucking iPhone apart from
obviously, the streaming services do what the streaming services do, which is basically they get to a certain point and they go, well, how can we make more money?
And like Netflix and Amazon Prime, they're going to be putting ads into their services. And the whole selling point of the streaming thing was no ads. So what's going to happen? DVDs and Blu-rays are going to come back because I don't want to watch ads. So I'm going to buy, like, for me, I've got DVD and Blu-ray collections anyway because I like having that.
I've always advocated for physical media anyway because I'm like, one of my arguments was, look, it's a lot easier for me to show someone a bookshelf full of books, DVDs and games and music and CDs and that and vinyls. It's a lot easier than me going, just let me load up my PC and then show you this spreadsheet
of what I've got. So they'll come back because of this, and the gaming's probably going to go back a little bit as well.
Hopefully, because of this,
because people are just it's not the fact that like AAA gaming is just bollocks at the moment, and it is. AAA gaming is just bollocks. They people like Microsoft and Sony they tell you this. They tell you, oh, this is what we're doing it for, and we're doing it, and it's all just garbage.
Yeah,
they might as well just like Phil Spencer. How in God's name is Phil Spencer allowed to be the CEO of Xbox?
After the stuff he has said, and especially now, like, he should be gone.
This is absolutely like the interview with Bloomberg with that lass who was the vice president, of Xbox or something like that. She's in charge of like
no, she's in charge of like the development teams and all that.
Yeah,
the developers and all that.
That absolute non-answer that she gave.
I want to say this though. Kudos to the director and the cameraman.
Yeah.
who, while she was going on about like, oh, we want to encourage the. What you went asked about why they closed Tango Games, and then the non-answer. We want to encourage development, and the market is a very fluid and all that. So it cut back to the two of the interviewee and her, the interviewer, sorry, and her, and behind them was a giant, a giant graph of Xbox. Game Pass sales, and it showed the massive spike and then the gradual slowdown.
Yeah,
and that's why they did it, because, and again, I just want to go back to this, like, it does seem like the community has finally woken up to the fact that like Phil Spencer is not.
Well, number one, I think it is. People have realised that Phil Spencer he just talks shit.
Yeah,
that's all he does. That's all he's ever done.
Right. Phil Spencer may be in public and a genuine nice guy, but this is on him as the head of Xbox, as the person who was the prime driver for Game Pass, for the focus on Game Pass, for everything, for the gamble on making Game Pass the biggest possible thing, to be the sole financial driver for Xbox, and for the absolutely reckless acquisitional spree of companies that we were saying, even when they bought Bethesda, that they really should take a step back and let the teams that they've already got get their games out, get the development going, and get that site, and then use that to maybe then push on to buy others, maybe. And then to just make the most horrendous decision to spend $70 billion to acquire Activision Blizzard.
No. To acquire COD.
Solely for Call of Duty is all on Phil Spencer. He needs to take personal responsibility for the absolute clusterfuck that Microsoft's gaming division, because that's what it is, and it has been for a while now. It's no longer Xbox, it's Microsoft Gaming. Let's call it a spade here. The absolute state that their developers are in now. Because basically Microsoft have turned around to every single developer and goes, it doesn't matter how good your game is. If we want you closed, you will be closed. There is nothing you can do. There is no point in even trying.
It'll be sales. It'll be sales.
No,
that's what right, like, look. Hi-Fi Rush was a success.
Yeah.
Right? It was a success. It worked. But, like, I guarantee you, the numbers that Microsoft put on them, it was never going to reach that number.
Right. So the thing is that they even said it hit every metric.
Bullshit.
Right?
I am calling bullshit.
Oh, no. I guarantee you it did hit every metric that they said at that time. The problem is that they then spent $70 billion on buying Activision Blizzard.
What I'm saying is that like we're back. Microsoft are at that point that like the Japanese companies had.
Yeah.
A few years, like not even that long ago, like 6 years ago, with like Resident Evil 7, it didn't do the numbers that we thought. Yeah. And it was like, but it's a massive success. What are you on about?
I know, but the point I'm making is the amount of money that they spent. Like COD alone, it would take them decades to make up the $70 billion that they spent, that they paid for. And Microsoft ain't gonna wait that long. So what do you do instead?
Yeah, you close them.
You close.
What I mean is like, hold on, what's that game? That game that's like, it looks like BioShock, but it's got the time stuff going on. That looks really interesting. But you know which one you mean. Like, that's not going to do gangbusters. It's going to do well.
Yeah.
It's going to do well, and I think it's going to beat expectations. But it's not going to do the numbers that Microsoft want.
Well, yeah.
This is the thing.
Here's the thing. Ninja Theory. Senua's...
Hellblade. Yeah, Hellblade's not going to do the numbers that they want.
Hellblade 2 is going to be... It's not going to do the numbers that they want.
Because of the type of game it is.
Yeah. But also, it's like, you now expect every game to do Call of Duty numbers?
Yeah.
Are you fucking insane?
That's the problem.
Like, I don't even think Call of Duty can do Call of Duty numbers now. Because, well, one, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 was that fucking shit. Look.
You reckon they're going to show Modern Warfare? You reckon they're going to show the next COD?
Do you know what? I think that's the only thing they're going to show.
I don't think so. I think we're going to get, Gears of War 6.
I'm joking when I say that. But, like...
We'll get Gears of War 6, because this is... The reason why they've done this now is that because we've got the showcase next month.
Yeah,
right?
And they don't want all this negative.
Yeah,
but also it's also the end of the financial quarter, and they need to bump up. Their...
Oh yeah, that as well. But what I'm saying is the reason why they've announced this now, the reason why they've done this now, is so that like all this stuff by the time the June thing, the showcase shows up, they're hoping
people will forget.
No, that it's died down. No one's going to forget of this bullshit. No one's going to. It's like no one's going to forget the bullshit that Sony's pulled. Yeah,
no. I mean, I'm reminded of like when EA did this sort of stuff, and even then it's like, I mean, EA was shit about how they treat their developers and close them down, but they deliberately undermined them. They didn't close a game that was like successful. A studio that had a successful game. They didn't do that. Not even EA did that. And it's like, but again, we said, didn't we say?
I knew it would be these studios. I knew it would.
Yeah,
because these studios do not make
all the people that were cheering on Microsoft when they bought Activision Blizzard. Yeah. Like, oh, we're gonna get this. They're gonna be great. It's gonna be fantastic. Microsoft for the win. Blah blah blah. I don't want to hear anything from them.
It's all bollocks.
All these people, you need to literally just no eye contact, heads down in shame, because you guys have got nothing to stand on anymore. You guys who cheered this on, congratulations, you got what you wished for. Well, this is the reaction.
The very simple idea that they were like, oh well, they're just going to buy Activision Blizzard and nothing bad is going to happen, is ridiculous. You're an idiot. Yeah, if you generally thought they were just going to buy Activision Blizzard and they weren't going to close studios down.
And they weren't going to fire people.
Like, are you living on a rock?
Yeah.
Because...
No, the problem is that they drink the Kool-Aid. It's the same with the Sony fanboys as well, by the way. Like, they literally drink the Kool-Aid. Yeah. And they so much that they literally have a disattachment from reality.
Yeah.
And it's just...
It's fucking stupid.
But
I knew it was going to be Tango. I knew it was going to be Tango. I knew it was going to be Arcane.
Because they don't make the big...
They don't make those games.
Yeah.
They make small niche games.
But also Tango's whole point of existence was to be like...
to let smaller developers learn their craft.
Yeah, to help like newer developers learn the craft so that they can go on to bigger and better things. Its literal purpose of existence was to help developers learn skills to go on to other teams to make bigger and better things. It was always going to make small niche creative games. It was always going to do that. But another thing as well. If like how do you think major franchises are made? Mm-hmm. How do you think we got to a God of War Ragnarok? How do you think we got to a Uncharted 4? How do you think we got to Battlefield 3 and 4? How do you think we got to Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2? Like, the lack of foresight of consequences to your actions, the lack of actually understanding the market you're in, it's just so fucking annoying and frustrating.
But they don't make they don't make big blockbuster games.
I mean,
and that's why those were picked. That's why Hi-Fi. That's why
Tango
was picked.
I know.
That's why
I know. It's like an executive from Microsoft looked at
Machine Gun Games will be next.
Yeah,
Machine Gun Games and Arcane after Blade. They'll be gone. The Bethesda studios will literally just be Bethesda studios.
I honestly am worried about Ninja Theory. I am deeply worried about Ninja Theory because not only are Microsoft proving that, yeah, it doesn't matter how well your game does. You've got a game coming out very soon that's cost a lot of money because you can tell they've
the technology used
they've
in
gone
that game
in
is very expensive.
Yeah, but they've also like gone in and gone like, look, Senua Hellblade 1 did very, very well. We're gonna go in on it. That was the proof of concept. Everyone loved how we did it. We just that, but bigger, and fix the stuff that needed to be fixed. Focus on like tidying things up and all that. But it's a proof of concept. We can go big on this now. So they've spent a lot of money on this game, and it has literally zero to no marketing on it, and it's out in just over a week. And if it doesn't bring in the numbers, hell, even if, despite all of the stuff that's against it now, with it being a more niche title, with very little to no marketing from Microsoft, with little promotion from Microsoft, apart from a picture, a picture
and a tweet,
and a couple of tweets, and I tell you what, I watch a lot of Twitch. It's stuff I usually have on the background. I have Twitch on usually on the background, and I can guarantee you the number of times anything for Hellblade 2 has come out is one. Not single digits, just one single advert. And it's an advert that, the last time we saw anything of detail from that game was
Game Awards.
The Game Awards. And what even worrying is that apparently at an event, the director wasn't there.
Oh.
And it's like, what the fuck is going on? What is wrong with you, Microsoft? Like, and I think even the more annoying thing is like, EA can turn around and go, we do not have infinite money. Right? I mean, yes, they have Ultimate Team money. It's a lot. But they can't turn around and claim they have infinite money. Microsoft is a $3 trillion company. They are the closest you will ever get to having infinite money. They could afford to keep these companies running. But they don't want to because it costs too much and it eats into their profits, and therefore their investors will be very unhappy. And again, I will just point this out again. All of these closures, all of these people's, all the firings, all the downsizings, and all the cancelled projects, etc., etc. This is all stemming from the straw that broke the camel's back, which was the $70 billion takeover.
Oh yeah. Well,
you spend $70 billion of a major corporation's money. Guess who's going to start paying attention very closely about what you are doing?
Well,
And so, yeah, no. One, Phil Spencer should no longer be getting a pass. He shouldn't have been getting a pass anyway. And two, the entire senior management of Xbox and Phil Spencer in particular. What
I like about what's well, what I find funny is like you see on like YouTube and you see on Twitter and all sorts of stuff like this. Xbox has lost my trust. Why did you trust them in the first place? That's honestly like what exactly has Xbox and Microsoft done to make you trust them with anything?
Now, I don't want to be stereotypical or put down any sort of innuendos or things, but I class Microsoft just as bad as Sony. Both do really douchebaggery things and can be very terrible in different ways at times. The only difference I see between those two companies is one is based in Japan and one is based in America.
Well, here's the thing. My whole point is like, right, look, I like Sony. I like their games. I like their consoles. I wouldn't trust Sony with a piggy bank.
That's what I'm saying.
With anything. I would not trust them to save me.
I would trust Sony. I wouldn't trust Sony with the ability to raise a self-sufficient dog. You know, a dog that could actually feed itself and do everything. I still wouldn't even trust Sony with
I wouldn't trust Sony with £5.
10 pence.
I wouldn't trust them with anything, because I know the minute I do that, they'll fuck up.
Yeah.
Right? Xbox is exactly the same. Xbox and Microsoft have done nothing, absolutely nothing, to earn any trust other than Game Pass. That's the only thing I can think of.
But again, like I say, I know what the end game is with that.
But
I know what Microsoft's original end game with Game Pass was, and that was you no longer own the right to play those games.
But you can't honestly look me in the eye and tell me your trust of Microsoft throughout all of this, throughout everything, all the buying that they've done, all the history that they have. Microsoft, by the way, Microsoft have a bad history of breaking rules and all this other stuff.
Breaking marketing rules.
You cannot look me in the eye and tell me Game Pass is the reason why you trust Microsoft with anything.
I know. I mean, I'm the same. I wouldn't trust Sony or Microsoft with anything.
I'm just seeing online, and I'm seeing all these like people being like, "Oh, I don't trust. How can you trust Xbox? How can you trust them in the first place?
Why did you trust them in the first place? Is more of the question. But
this is a company that 14 years ago tried to put DRM into everything.
Yeah, no, I want to say actually 10.
Yeah, this is a
10,
company.
11 years ago. This is Microsoft. Remember the Xbox One E3 reveal?
This is a company that gave you the Xbox One. How can you trust them with anything?
They literally turned around and said, "You are not allowed to trade anything. We don't like that because it costs." Because
you can't do pre-owned. Like, why? Oh. My God, this is the company that made it okay for you to pay an online subscription to play online.
Something that PC still doesn't do, by the way.
Microsoft did that.
Yeah.
That was Microsoft. Microsoft are the company that gave you timed exclusives.
Yeah.
Microsoft is the company that gave you paid third-party exclusives.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because I know if they existed before, but to be honest with you, before there was literally a PlayStation 2 who just let everybody make whatever they wanted, and put it on the PlayStation 2. And
Nintendo.
And Nintendo.
And
Nintendo don't let anybody make anything for their games.
there was Dreamcast. Poor Sega.
But they didn't last very long. But, so at the time, yes, there was third-party exclusive, but there really wasn't. It was literally, you either made something for Nintendo, which Nintendo didn't.
It was more often than not the developer's decision to...
Yeah. Now it's literally, oh, well, we come along and we pay you a bunch of money not to put the game on the other console.
Yeah.
And that was Microsoft.
Yeah, Microsoft started that, and then Sony decided, we're just going to one you up you on that.
All the bullshit that you don't like about the gaming industry, that was Microsoft.
Microsoft introduced it. Congratulations.
So why, in God's name, do you trust Microsoft with anything? And I'm literally like
I say, the Xbox fanboys and the Sony fanboys,
but it's
they drink the Kool-Aid.
No, but it's not them. That's the thing. It's not the Xbox fanboys that are saying this. Because the Xbox fanboys are still out there flying the flag for Xbox and being like, oh, well, it's just
poor
something
Phil.
that
Think about poor Phil's feelings.
To make this decision.
Poor Phil's feelings. Who would think, Mike, you bar, shut the fuck up?
It's not them. It's not them. It's not the fanboys who are doing this. It's the fucking YouTubers who should have been decrying the monopoly call out. But they didn't. It's the YouTubers who were perfectly fine with Microsoft buying absolutely fucking everybody. And even some of them even fucking decrying that, oh, it's a good thing that Microsoft are doing this shit. And then this has happened. And then they're like, oh, I can't believe Microsoft have done this. Do you live under a rock? Is this are you fucking kidding me? Like, there are smaller YouTubers than a lot of the bigger ones that should have been fucking calling this shit out, who have been decrying and saying that this is bad.
Yeah, I mean, from day one, we were literally like,
from day one, the Activision buyout shouldn't be happening. From day one, we were saying that because it's a monopoly, and it is a monopoly. I don't give a shit what that judge said. It's a monopoly, and the fact that that judge came out and said it's better to buy if everything's under one umbrella shows that she has absolutely no idea about business.
Yeah.
Even though that's apparently what her expertise is in.
Well, no, she does, but it's the Americanized businessman version.
And the very fact that these people are coming out now and being like, "Oh well, I can't trust Xbox anymore. I can't trust Microsoft. Everything is like, no, you're part of the fucking problem."
Yeah.
Where were you?
Well, yeah, where were you?
Where were you last year?
Yeah, no, 2 years ago. Where were you 2 years ago when this was...
You were fucking singing... I'll tell you exactly where you were. You were singing Xbox's fucking praises. That's exactly what you were doing.
Yeah. And then when the deal finally went
everybody was telling you guys, this is what's going to happen. Because mergers like this... Always. Jobs always get cut.
Jobs always get cut. Studios... And in the gaming industry... Studios always get closed.
It always happens.
The only difference that has happened, like I say, is a team that released a game that was successful and popular and had potential to become something even greater. They closed that. You
can't turn around here and say that, because Microsoft bought them, I didn't think it was going to happen. Bullshit. That's bullshit.
Even if Microsoft have, like I say, almost infinite money, if they are still a major giant corporation. Major giant corporations don't like spending money.
They don't like spending $70 billion.
And like I said not too long ago, when the deal went through, Microsoft wants its return on its investment. They'll want their money back, and they won't want it in 10 years' time. They'll want it now.
And so, now I like, instead of a Microsoft changing Activision, it generally feels like Activision, the way Activision works is sunk into Microsoft. To
be honest, this is how Microsoft always worked.
I know. I'm just, I like...
The problem is that Xbox seemed to, especially when they first started, and especially with the 360, Xbox was allowed a lot of leeway, a lot of freedom to do whatever they want, because it was a tiny little part of Microsoft. A part of so small that the chief executives at the top end of Microsoft would look at it and go, "Oh, that's just a rounding error. I don't need to pay attention to that." Now, it's a 70. It's cost them well over $100 billion, probably.
Well, yeah, because probably.
Well, no, if you just think about it, the court cases and the acquisition of Activision Blizzard,
and then you got
over 100 million, the 9-figure payout to Bobby Kotick.
Yeah, the $7 billion for Bethesda.
Yeah, the $7 billion for Bethesda, and all the other acquisitions they had. We're talking and also the wages for those.
We are at least in the 90.
I think I can easily probably say, I'm probably lowballing it, that Xbox now has in the last 5 years cost Microsoft $100 billion.
Probably. That's what I'm saying. At least like
12 figures, and that is a level of number that the executives go and start going, let's see what this part of our company is actually doing.
Yeah.
And again, this is all on Phil Spencer.
Oh yeah,
the person that the Xbox fan base, and don't get me wrong, I think I want Xbox to do well. I don't know. Well, I used to. I wanted Xbox to be successful. I wanted Xbox to keep Sony at the bare minimum, keep Sony honest, right?
Yeah.
Because like I said, when Sony's on top, they pull bullshit like that happened on the PS3 and bullshit like we don't want our community, we are protecting our community, which is why we're not allowing a crossplay, etc., etc., and now the fucking bullshit with the PlayStation Network. Do you honestly think if Sony wasn't absolutely bodying my Xbox,
oh yeah, this wouldn't be happening,
the PlayStation Network thing would be happening? No, because they would want as much sales as possible. They because everything's on fine, but because they have such a dominant position, they can look at it and go, yeah, we can pull this bullshit, we won't, and we will still be in first place. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And it's like, and everything Phil has done, whatever his intentions, these repercussions, these actions fall flatly on his doorstep. He is the one that, as the leader of Xbox, doubled down and focused on Game Pass. He is the one that's made himself the face of the company, of the Xbox division. He is the one that pushed for the acquisition of Bethesda. He is the one that pushed for the acquisition of Activision Blizzard. And he is the one that went through the entire court case, no matter how much it must have cost them to get that done. He is responsible. So it doesn't matter, like I've said, like I'm repeating myself now, it doesn't matter who actually made the decision. Phil Spencer's actions led these are the repercussions of Phil Spencer's leadership. And if that for me means he has to go, but I don't think he will.
No, he won't.
He will try in a couple of months' time to come out and be I'm Phil Spencer, I'm one of you guys, look at me, I'm good old Phil.
I've got a house in Fallout 76 because I play games.
Yeah, I've got a house in Fallout
76.
It's been
nuked.
Yeah, it's been nuked. And to be perfectly honest, I think it should be multiply nuked.
Oh no, it's going to get nuked again. Everybody's going to be doing that.
It's going to be nuked. Over and over again. And I want people to instantly call bullshit on it. I know some people won't, but they should do, because Phil Spencer the recent actions has proven everything he has said beforehand to be false. Regardless of whether or not he meant it at the time, he should have known the amount of money he spent would have brought on eyes from higher up, from Daddy Microsoft. And if he didn't, then he shouldn't be in that position. And if he did, then he made promises that he could not keep. And both of those, there's no way out of this, in my opinion, should have him go. Either because Microsoft think he's not running the place correctly because they cost him over $100 billion for the last 5 years or so, maybe. Or he's a liar and cannot hold up his promises. I mean, hell, there's a documentary from about 2-3 years ago where they go on about, we learnt our lessons from lying ahead. Did you fuck? You've just gone and done the exact same thing, except even worse, because you literally killed a company that showed so much potential and could have probably led you to probably having the next Gears of War or the next major Halo series.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you killed it. Solely so that you could bump your fucking figures up for the next financial quarter. That's all it was.
Mm-hmm.
That's all these closures are. It's not because they can't afford to run them. It's because they want number to go up. But my question is this. When your games start to suck even more because your staff don't feel like
it's not even that. It'll be you don't have any staff.
You don't have either A, you don't have the staff, or B, the staff that are there know that it doesn't matter how much hard work they put in, they could still get fired tomorrow anyway.
But
how does closing a studio that gave you exactly what you wanted going to affect everyone else? But no, you didn't think of that. You just went, oh yeah, I'll close. Microsoft just went, close these studios. Yes.
I'm going to there.
Yeah.
I'm going to there. I do hope you've enjoyed this chat. Bit of a sucky one today because it's just a load of. I did try and find some good news.
It's all been drowned out by the
but
recent
unfortunately,
bullshit.
there's no like reveals.
I
or
mean,
anything.
you know, technically us dunking on EA was fun, but the whole I'm just angry at Microsoft, not just because like they've closed Tango.
I'm just annoyed at the whole situation, like the whole thing, because
Yeah.
it's all just stupid. It's all just stupid. There's literally no reason. It's another one of those moments of literally going, why? There is no reason.
No, like I say, there was no reason. They gave Microsoft, and this is the thing. Like I said, Matt Booty, a day later, literally said we want smaller games that give us prestige and awards. To which the head of Tango Games tweeted out the fucking awards that Hi-Fi Rush got and went, not enough.
Yeah.
This is like that's the thing that angers me the most is like you've just not only have you closed Tango Games, right, and Arcane Austin, who gave out amazing games to people. Yes, Redfall was terrible. Yes, but you know, Prey's amazing. The the Dishonored games are fantastic. Are they Call of Duty numbers? No, only Call of Duty makes Call of Duty numbers. Just like Grand Theft Auto 5, only that. Oh, Grand Theft Auto can only make Grand Theft Auto numbers. It was just they were successful, really well loved games and game developers. Sacking and closing those studios down will have a ripple effect. Like everyone in Bethesda knows now, it doesn't matter how good your game is, you could still get fired. Everyone in Activision Blizzard now knows it doesn't matter. If Daddy Microsoft says we're going to close you down, you're getting closed down. It doesn't matter if you come out with Dead Space 2 that sells gangbusters and is acclaimed around the world.
Dead Space is EA.
I know, but
I know what you mean. I'm just.
It doesn't matter if Gears of War 6 comes out and is phenomenal and is groundbreaking and is lauded as the best game of the series and goes on to sell gangbusters. Doesn't matter. If Microsoft says you're going to close down, you're going to close down. Doesn't matter. So how can you have a healthy, creative workforce in that environment? And the answer is you don't.
I want to know, of all the studios that you closed, how did 343 get through?
Because that's not Bethesda.
Yeah,
They've all the closures were Bethesda's.
Yeah, that's true.
But again, who's to say the next load of closures aren't going to be because apparently they're not finished yet.
Oh yeah, there'll be more. It's gonna be the smaller studio. It's gonna be the small ones, the ones that make like games that like are really niche and like the games that you kind of need in the industry because people want to like make those games.
Yeah, but also people want variety.
But it'll be them. It'll be those ones because people want companies like Microsoft and EA and Sony and Take-Two. They want Grand Theft Auto numbers for everything.
And like I said, only Grand Theft Auto.
Yes.
Only Grand Theft Auto makes Grand Theft Auto
we've gone on too long. The most heartbreaking thing for me is that the two studios that I really liked from Bethesda, they're both gone.
Yeah. They're
both gone. I loved Prey. I love Dishonored. Oh, luckily, Arcane Studios is still there.
A thing, but
But we don't know with the way things are going.
Like
but Tango Games Works. Like number one, I'm a big fan of Shinji.
Yeah.
So whatever he puts his name to, I'm gonna at least have a look at it. And I really like The Evil Within.
Something we didn't mention. Microsoft have constantly been saying they want to break into the Japanese market. They want Japanese developers to work with them.
Yeah, and they just closed one down.
Yeah. How,
they just closed the
good luck.
studio.
Good luck getting any other studio to work with you when you've just closed one of the few Japanese studios that you have, and not only did you close them down, but they actually gave you successful games. Because Tango did Tokyo
Ghostwire Tokyo thingy. Yeah.
Like. So
I liked that. Like I liked almost all. Well, no. Yeah, Hi-Fi Rush is the only one I didn't really play, but I wasn't interested.
Yeah,
that's
it was a rhythm action game.
That's the first game by Tango that I was like,
but it was clearly,
it's not really not my thing.
Yeah. Well, again, you didn't literally go, oh, it's a crap. You recognised it as a good game,
and like,
and that's another thing. Hi-Fi Rush is now at risk of suffering the same fate as Scott Pilgrim versus the World because of the licensed music.
Yeah.
Who's going to patch out the licensed music? No one. So that game's going to get pulled because of licensing issues. It's just. You know what? To finish on a slightly positive note, it's a good thing we have the smaller publishers and the indie developers, because
Saber Interactive, you couldn't have come around sooner.
Saber Interactive, the guy behind Lethal Company, the small team behind Content Warning, Hades 2's just dropped. So
I mean, fuck, you're making Epic look good. You know how hard that is.
Yeah, and that's another thing. Can the AAA game industry stop having I'm going to be the worst company in?
Oh no, that's Microsoft this year. Microsoft's won it this year. They've done it. I cannot generally see any of the other companies taking such a big L, because
Ubisoft exists.
Yeah, but Ubisoft try to sell you stuff.
Yeah, I know, but also Ubisoft can be compared to the Catholic Church.
Well, that's true, but Ubisoft don't close down studios for absolutely no reason.
True. But again, the Ubisoft exists.
Ubisoft do exist. Exify might, still has a chance of coming out, so you never know. But yeah, I think on a final note, like thankfully we do have the smaller publishers.
The indie market is the thing that's saving the gaming industry.
Yeah, the indie market is like Hades 2 there's dropped in early access, and that looks fucking fantastic. I can't wait for that to actually come out. I'm not going to do what I did with Hades, because I bought Hades early access.
Early access, and you burnt yourself out on it.
I burnt myself out on it. I mean, I've got Hades on the PC, Switch, and PlayStation. I adore Hades. I absolutely adore that game. But it's not just that. It's more like I'm being a little bit more careful with games now.
Yeah.
I don't want to just I don't just look at a game and instantly go, oh my god. I don't pre-order games.
We've been burnt too many times
and stuff like that. So I generally just wait until release.
But as I was saying, on a slightly brighter note, it is heartwarming to see the fact that the indie scene, which isn't perfect, but the indie scene is picking up the slack per se from the AAA industry, which doesn't help those that are stuck in that.
To which actually, talking about in the indie scene, the Idle Showdown, the latest patch just come out.
Yes, with Ina.
Like the work that they've done on that game is unbelievable.
For a free beat 'em up.
They even got voice lines from the actual VTubers.
I think they have Kiara now as
she's the shop. She's the shop,
and she's actually done voice lines for it.
Yeah. I don't think Ina.
I don't think Ina. No,
Ina is a lot of clips from videos.
Yeah. But again, the work put into it is absolutely phenomenal for what is clearly a passion project. Because it is a fan game of Hololive.
That was actually at Evo.
I know, but I'm not. Look, I've played it. It is a good game. And yeah, we're digressing, but
You know,
it's
you
fine.
got-
We want to talk about stuff we like. We don't want to just have an entire video of.
Lethal Company.
Yeah,
like you
leave
said.
it. Like if somebody's one guy.
Yeah. To go back to HoloLive, the Holo X Break has just come out
Yeah.
recently. That's done really, really well.
Yeah. It's a side-scrolling beat 'em up, which you like.
I do like this.
And of course, there's Hollow Cure, which is a Vampire Survivors game, which is phenomenally addictive.
It's right. That is a game that has no right at being as good as it is.
It has no right.
It is no. It should not be that good.
But it is.
But it is. Yeah. So there's a lot of games out there that are fine. On the other side, you know, Stellar Blade is it's phenomenal. It's my game of the year.
Better than Liza P.
Yeah. I did me personally, yeah,
Fair
I think
point.
it is. It is so fucking good. Like, put it this way, right? The open world part is a desert. And you know how much I hate deserts.
Yeah, you constantly say that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't care. That's how good this game is. I generally don't care that I'm in the middle of a desert.
So anyway, the AAA game industry sucks. Microsoft sucks even more. Sony sucks just a little bit less, but still sucks.
The only good thing, if there's one good thing that I can take from this, is that finally people are looking at Microsoft like they're a fucking corporate company.
Yeah.
At long fucking
That
last.
they are the fucking life-sucking corporate bullshittery company that they are.
Far too long, people have been looking at the Xbox side of Microsoft and being like, "Oh, well, they're just like us. They're gamers." And no, they are people in suits.
Yeah.
They just come out on stage
And
wearing
pretend.
jeans and
Pretend
that they're one of us. They are not. They do not care. And it's about time that people see what they actually are. And it's the only good thing I can. It's not. It doesn't justify what's happened.
No,
but it's the
doesn't
only
make
good
up,
thing.
It doesn't make up for the absolute.
But it is about time that people start looking at these companies for what they actually are.
Yeah, and stop giving them a
not-
pass.
Yeah, like we don't give. We've self call ourselves Sony fanboys.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not, but we don't give Sony passes.
So I claim myself as a Sony fanboy because I've played all the
Yeah,
consoles.
but like I don't like. Yeah, but so have I. But I don't. Like
I know, but what I'm saying is that when the PlayStation 6 is announced, I will probably look at it and
I'm
probably
gonna get the
I'm
PS6.
probably going to get a PS6.
That's true.
But when Sony pull out the bullshit, we call it out because it would be hypocritical of us not to.
Exactly. Right, and it's nice and finally to get on the same page as some other people now, other than obviously the fanboys, that they're actually looking at Microsoft and being like, oh well, you know what, all those things that they said about being for the gamers, maybe they were lying about that. Yeah, they were.
Maybe.
They want your money, and that's all.
I know exactly which line they knew they were lying about, which is this acquisition is good for the gaming industry.
And everybody should have seen that.
Everyone should have called that one out.
Everybody should have seen that. Everybody should have. The minute they came out and said we're buying Activision, it's going to be great for the industry. That line there is enough to tell you that no, this is not going to.
And
be
if
good
they're
for the
willing to
industry.
lie to you about that, what else are they willing to lie about?
Exactly. Anyway, I've
we're
tried to
going
end
too
it.
far. Yeah,
But yeah, it sucks for Tango and it sucks for Arcane Austin. Hopefully,
hopefully those people can land on their feet. But the problem is
especially the Tango with them being so small.
the problem is the amount of people that have in that industry lost their jobs.
Exactly. They're now into this ridiculously sized pool.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing for Tango is the Tango employees, because Arcane Austin, I mean, unfortunately, a lot of them are going to go, well, the last game I worked on was Redfall.
Yes, but some of them can say, I worked on Prey, I worked on Dishonored, etc., etc.
What I'm saying is, like, there are going to be some companies that will be like, and we're talking AAA.
Yeah.
But some of the companies are like, well, what was the last game you worked on?
Yes.
At least the Tango employees have, well, we worked on Hi-Fi Rush.
Yeah. I did this on Hi-Fi Rush.
At least they've got that. Arcane Austin's got, well, what was the last game that you worked on? Redfall. Oh, that garbage.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what I mean.
Yeah. I totally understand that. And it sucks
Yeah.
for those people. But
Hopefully, fingers crossed that they can land on their feet and do something. I mean, rumours are that Sony's actually opening a new studio of their own.
I know there's been a few smaller indie companies I've said, give us your CVs, we'll have a look.
To be honest with you, if I was fucking EA, if I was EA, this is my fucking time to shine.
Yeah, but it's EA.
I know it's EA, and they're robots, and they don't understand. But what I'm saying is, Microsoft's in all this shit, right? They're in all this shit. We're in a lot of shit because of the box.
Because our CEO
we can turn
has
this
decided
around.
we
can turn this around, right? I mean, they won't because they're robots and they don't know how to. They only do what they're programmed to do, right? But go to Tango Gamesworks and go to them and go. Do you want to open a new studio under the EA umbrella? Do you want to open up a new studio? Unfortunately, you can't make Hi-Fi Rush 2.
No, because that's going into the
Microsoft.
IP.
And Microsoft owns that IP, so you can't make that. But do you want to make a game that's like Hi-Fi Rush? That does the rhythm combat that you made in Hi-Fi Rush. Obviously, the art style will have to change because you can't do that because.
I mean, you can do a similar art
style. You can do this similar, but you're going to have to change something.
Yeah.
But yeah, you could make a successor.
A spiritual
do you
successor.
Want to do that?
Yeah.
And I would and if they were like, well, yeah, we would like to do that. There you go. You got a new studio, and not only that, you can fucking sing that out to the fucking crowds. You will look like fucking Jesus.
Yeah.
Right?
But again,
seriously, EA hire me. EA hire me. I will guide you to the promised land with ideas. None of them will work, but this one would. Like, people would generally look at you and go, "Oh my god, EA."
The problem is that their CEO is a robot.
Unfortunately, you're just a bunch of robots, and you can only do what you're programmed to do.
Yeah, which is terrible stuff, by the way.
Yeah, which is just awful.
Like selling gambling to kids.
I mean, fuck it. You know what? Sony should do it.
I mean, Sony
are petty enough to do it.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Sony are petty enough to do it. I would still call Sony for the bullshit, but Sony are petty enough to do this and to rub Microsoft's face.
That's what I mean. They are petty enough to do it, to just rub it in to Microsoft to be like, well, look what we've done. I mean, it would suck because obviously they have also let a lot of people go
and closed studios,
which is bullshit, by the way. But
anyway,
if I was in the boardroom for Sony, I'd be like, well, I mean, it'll cost us money, but do you want to rub Microsoft's face into the ground a little bit more?
It would do two things. It would give us goodwill points that
we really need right now.
And I would deliberately find out who's made the decision for the PSN stuff.
Yeah.
Look at them that we've deliberately decided to set fire to. And two, we get to shove Microsoft's face in it.
Into the dirt again.
I'm all for shoving Microsoft's face in the dirt, so why don't we do that? But it's the AAA game industry at the moment, and at the moment they're all in the whole thing of like unrealistic number must still go up.
We're not making enough money. We're not making enough money, so we need to cut jobs.
It's in the numbers we want are unrealistic. And anyone with half a brain cell would know they're unrealistic, but we've been drinking our own Kool-Aid for so long that we have literally disattached ourselves from reality and think money is an infinite resource. Anyway,
Yay!
I think we should leave it there.
Yeah, we'll leave it there. Yeah, it sucks, but
it does.
You know what? Unfortunately, there's nothing that we can do
except call it out.
And it's like I said, it's nice to finally see people who should have been calling Microsoft out a while ago
are now
actually calling Microsoft out.
It's a little bit too late.
Yeah, but it's fine.
Unlike Sony, we are not petty.
No, we are not petty.
We're too tired of this shit to be petty.
Yeah.
And on that bombshell.
I do hope you've enjoyed this chat. Well, I say chat, it's been more of a rant today, isn't it?
Yeah. Justifiably so, but still a rant.
Yeah. And I hope to see you in the next one. Bye now.
Toodles.